there are several large Medicare insurers that are proposing to cut coverage for millions of seniors all across the country. There have been 120,000 seniors who have had their non-melanoma skin cancer cured by IGSRT, yet these insurers are putting forth proposals that would end that coverage potentially as soon as the end of this month. And it makes no clinical sense. No one argues that IGSRT is 99.3% effective.
Yes.
And it's delivered in dermatologist offices all over the country. And it's a godsend to people in rural America and suburban America who don't have a large oncology center or access to Mohs surgery where they live.
Hey everyone, this is Jonathan Marks from Go2Health. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks again for your viewership and loyalty. We're enjoying 11,000 downloads per day, and we'll hit 1.8 million by the end of June. So today's topic. I personally have had non-melanoma skin cancer on my face, and a few years ago had Mohs surgery, that's M-O-H-S, to remove the lesions. The surgery went fine, but since then, there's a new non-invasive therapy that has become the choice for physicians and patients. A proposed change to Medicare policy could affect access to this clinically and cost-effective form of skin cancer treatment used by more than 100,000 seniors nationwide. Some health experts are concerned that the changes proposed by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, that's CMS, would reduce coverage for image-guided superficial radiation therapy, or IGSRT, a non-invasive treatment option for non-melanoma skin cancer, the most common form of cancer in the United States. More Americans are diagnosed with non-melanoma skin cancer than all other cancers combined, with 9,500 new cases diagnosed every day. We're simply getting too much sun and we're not protecting ourselves well enough. Image-guided superficial radiation therapy is a non-invasive option with a 99.3% success rate in treating non-melanoma skin cancer. Supporters of IGSRT warn that the policy change cut Medicare benefits and could reduce patient choice, especially for seniors who are not candidates for surgery. They also note that Mohs surgery, the main alternative, is more invasive and may carry greater risks. We have two experts to talk about this with us today. Matt Bassett serves as the Executive Director of the Dermatology Association of Radiation Therapy. He is an American healthcare executive and former government official. Nominated by President Donald Trump in 2017, Bassett served as Assistant Secretary for Legislation in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Previously, he was at health companies MyNexus and DaVita. Also with us today is Dr. Kenneth Milani. He has over 40 years of experience in the U.S. healthcare industry as a provider, supplier, and insurer. He began his career as a practicing physician, growing his internal medicine practice into the largest multi-specialty physician practice in Western Pennsylvania. In the mid-1980s, he helped start a physician hospital organization, West Penn Cares, where he became chairman and CEO. And in 1989, he joined Highmark, Inc., where he spent the next 23 years of his career in a variety of positions, including president and CEO. He now has his own healthcare consulting firm, KRM Group, LLC. So welcome to the show, Matt Bassett and Dr. Kenneth Milani. How are you each today?
Great, thank you.
Good, Jonathan. Thank you for having us.
Good, my pleasure. So Dr. Milani, let's talk about non-melanoma skin cancer first. It's the most common cancer in the U.S., 5 million people have had it and 9,500 more are diagnosed every day. How do we avoid this kind of skin cancer?
Well, the main cause of skin cancer is sun exposure, and it tends to start at an early age. So the best thing you can do is to avoid the sun if possible, but that may be totally impractical to do that every day of your life. But using sunscreens and making sure you have sunscreens on every single day. Even when you're out on a cloudy day, you're getting exposed to UV radiation, which has a tendency to break down the skin cells and cause skin cancer. So again, starting at a young age, keep your kids well lubricated with sunscreen.
Great, thank you. And what are the typical treatments for non-melanoma skin cancer? I myself have had Mohs surgery, and when I had that big pressure bandage on my face, everyone came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, I had that too." So tell us, what is Mohs surgery?
Yeah, so there are a variety of options that are available to treat skin cancer, and it depends on everybody's unique situation and what's best for that particular patient and their circumstances. There are creams that can be used in a variety of creams. There are things like lasers. There are cryosurgery, which is using heat and cold. There are radiation therapies, and there are surgical therapies, simple excision or Mohs. Mohs tends to be the most common form of treatment for non-melanoma skin cancer. Prior to Mohs, in the early days, 100 years ago, it used to be radiation therapy, superficial radiation therapy. And then in the 1970s, they came up with this thing called Mohs surgery, where they were able to take the lesion and take it slice by slice and
Yes.
sort of look at it on a three-dimensional basis. So they can make sure they were getting the edges completely eradicated. And it replaced superficial radiation therapy, which was kind of a shotgun approach to treating the lesion, with this more sophisticated, three-dimensional approach to getting rid of the lesion. And it led to cure rates that were much higher, like in the 99+% range. And so it became the standard of care. But now today, 9 years ago, a new therapy was introduced. They took the old-fashioned superficial radiation therapy and added imaging to it, high-resolution dermal imaging. And when you couple those two, and you can actually look at the lesion on a three-dimensional basis every time you're treated using the imaging, you can basically then adjust the therapy along the way and get the same cure rates in the 99+% range with actually no side effects whatsoever of significance. So it's a very good alternative to Mohs. And that's what we're talking about here today.
Great. Thank you for that explanation. So, Matt, let me ask you, you were Assistant Secretary for Legislation in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in President Trump's first term. This is the second show we're doing where we are learning about reductions to Medicare coverage. President Trump promised this was not going to happen. What's going on here?
Yes, and for the 10 years, including the 3 that I worked for the president, he has steadfastly refused to cut Medicare. And so this policy is, I want to be clear, this isn't his policy, nor is it the policy of Secretary Kennedy, nor is it the policy of CMS Administrator Oz. But the reality is there are several large Medicare insurers that are proposing to cut coverage, not limit coverage, cut the coverage for millions of seniors all across the country. Since 2016, there have been 120,000 seniors who have had their non-melanoma skin cancer cured by IGSRT, yet these insurers are putting forth proposals that would end that coverage potentially as soon as the end of this month. And it makes no clinical sense. No one argues that IGSRT is 99.3% effective.
Yes.
And it's delivered in dermatologist offices all over the country. And it's a godsend to people in rural America and suburban America who don't have a large oncology center or access to Mohs surgery where they live. And so the idea of removing a treatment option that has cured 120,000 Americans is completely inconsistent. And it's something that really needs to be stopped before it affects people who are mid-treatment. There are 25,000 seniors who are getting treatment today that have to worry if this is going to be covered going into next month. And that is a failure of policy. It is putting the interest of corporate medicine above that of patients. And that is something that CMS, under Dr. Oz's leadership, should stop.
Got it. So what's causing this change here? Is it really the insurers who are recommending this change or wanting this change? And is there anything CMS can do to stop it or change it?
CMS absolutely can stop this change. They're in the open comment period now that ends on June 28th. So whether it is the White House's involvement or Secretary Kennedy or Dr. Oz, they have the ability to pull this back before any harm actually comes to seniors. And we are hopeful and optimistic that as they learn about this issue, that they will do, in fact, just that.
Got it. So before I go on with questions, people can visit patientsact.org to learn more. And also on screen, we're showing you when you go to patientsact.org, you can actually email your congressman or your senators from that website And there's an automatic email that goes out to them that makes it very simple for you to communicate your disapproval with this policy. You can see that on the website when you go to patientsact.org. So let me come back, Matt. Who is pressing this change? Is it the insurance companies themselves that don't want to cover this practice anymore?
It's the insurance companies have not been covering this for some time. It's actually the Medicare administrative contractors who work on behalf of CMS. So it's CMS that has the proposed policies on coverage and coding and payment that are being introduced. And that's where this is. So it's really CMS that's now changing its position. After paying for this for 9 years,
Yes.
they're now in a position where they're threatening to pull the plug and to quit paying for the service. And that's, as Matt said, that's extremely surprising. All my years in industry, as one of the largest Medicare intermediaries or MACs in the country, I've never seen anything like this happen.
And what's causing this? Do we know what's behind this?
Well, we believe that it's self-interested organized medicine.
Okay.
There are groups of organized medicine that are behind this. So there are people in organized medicine from the radiation oncology perspective and the Mohs surgeons who are threatened by IGSRT. And they have been lobbying for quite some time to try to get changes made and eliminate IGSRT from the marketplace. And it seems that they've finally effectively gotten to CMS.
So this is really cutting into their current business, and it's a new therapy that is an alternative, and they're not happy with that, is what I'm hearing.
It's the perception that it's cutting into their business. It's in reality, it's not really cutting into anything.
Okay.
When you consider that 1 in 5 Americans will be diagnosed with non-melanoma skin cancer, the only question that should be asked policy-wise about IGSRT is why is only seniors on traditional Medicare able to get it? Everyone should have access to this. It is painless. It is non-invasive. It is done in dermatologist offices all across the country. We should be expanding coverage to meet the need that is growing rapidly. This is growing faster than all other forms of cancer combined. So any idea of removing a tool from the toolkit in the fight against cancer is unbelievably unwise.
I couldn't agree more. Before we end, let me just ask a final question. What message would you like to leave with people today? I mean, there's so much change going on. How would you like people to act? What action would you like them to take? What should we know about this?
Well, Jonathan, I would go back to your earlier point to please go to patientsact.org. Not only can you email your elected representative, but you can also email these insurers directly who are accepting feedback because they're required to. And I know that they have received tens of thousands of letters in opposition to this. So it makes it very easy for you to send emails to all 5 of the insurers. You can also email the White House to encourage them to pull this policy, in addition to the leadership at HHS and at CMS. And if enough people voice enough concern, it is our hope that this could be pulled back before the end of this month and before treatments are stopped for millions of seniors.
And what is the name of this policy that people should be aware of that we should be communicating?
Yeah, it's a policy regarding image-guided superficial radiation therapy.
IGSRT, either eliminating coverage or eliminating payments because both have the same effect.
Got it. Dr. Milani, any final words?
My only final words is, if you do think you have a skin lesion, go see your primary care physician or your dermatologist, get it checked, and make sure that they offer you all the options that are available, not just force you to have Mohs surgery.
Got it. Thanks both of you so much for being with us today. We've been talking with Matt Bassett. He serves as the Executive Director of the Dermatology Association of Radiation Therapy. He's an American healthcare executive and former government official nominated by President Donald Trump in 2017. He served as Assistant Secretary for Legislation in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and previously he was at health companies MyNexus and DaVita. And Dr. Kenneth Milani has over 40 years' experience in the U.S. health industry as a provider, supplier, and insurer. He began his career as a practicing physician, growing his internal medicine practice into the largest multi-specialty physician practice in Western Pennsylvania. It's been great having both of you on the show today. Thanks for being with us and educating about this change.
Thank you, Jonathan.
This has been Jonathan Marks with Go to Health. And remember, as we say at the end of every show, go to health. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in today to Go to Health. You are one of almost 10,000 people per day who enjoy the evidence-based health information offered by our guest health experts. You can watch us on our website and YouTube and listen to us on 8 podcast networks. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks in our upcoming shows each week. If you like our show, please share this episode with your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to the show, join our email list, send us feedback, browse through the online store, and view our library of over 150 shows at gotohealthmedia.com. See you next time, and remember to elevate your life with Go to Health.